Good morning, Cedar Park. Today is Monday, October 30th, and it's a B-Day. On today's show, learn how a group of seniors are enjoying their last year together.
Plus, a story on Theater's Haunted House, as well as today's headlines on this morning's brief.
And get the latest in Timberwolf sports with Reese Elizondo and an all-new Alpha Wolf of the Week.
Turn it up because the Wolfcast starts now. Good morning, Cedar Park, and happy Monday. I'm Kira Cox with Reed Cummins and Lulu Lynch.
You may have seen 4 familiar faces leading each metal shop in the past 4 years.
Seniors Trey Thompson, Aiden Gonzalez, Randy Greiner, and Harris Garner have been part of the Cedar Park High School snare line since their freshman year in 2020.
But as each and every one of you know, 2020 was not a normal freshman year for any of the class of 2024.
For a while, we were kind of holding out hope that we would do our regular show, but we ended up doing like a percussion-only show. It was pretty cool. I'd say the hardest part was just there wasn't a ton of payoff.
Even though their freshman year wasn't a normal year by any stretch, the quartet still got to participate in the Timberwolf tradition of metal shop.
I've known that the drumline does that for a very long time, and I did not think it would be that crazy. That environment was not. I'm not used to that environment. So I was definitely not used to it. It was like a brick wall just hitting me.
But over the 4 years, and even dating back to when the four were in the 6th grade, they've grown together, and more importantly, grown up together.
Honestly, we push each other a lot because the 4 of us have grown together since 6th grade, and so as everybody else improves, you got to improve too. You can't fall behind.
Since 2020, the boys have learned a lot together, and looking back, Harris said that he wished he knew how to value every moment as a freshman.
You always hear about it, but being able to recognize that and truly take care of that is something that you just have to learn with experience.
Even though they are on the line together, there are still times they have to compete against each other. But Trey said going against each other has never changed how much they wanted the others to succeed.
We're always rooting for each other. It's never oh, I hope he fails so I can do better. It's never like that. Whenever someone has a good run, we're always super congratulating them and super happy for them.
This is the last year that all 4 boys will be together. And when asked what he will miss the most next year, Harris said,
Just not being with the guys every day.
Senior night is this Friday at Gupton, so remember to come out and be extra loud for our seniors.
So, Kira, there's a freshman on the snare line with the team this year. What are they hoping to leave behind with him?
Yeah, so they're just hoping that he holds on to what they teach them and continues to improve and just keep growing and makes friends with the new people on the snare line next year with him.
Cool, thanks, Kira. And so what are they going to be planning on doing next year?
So I believe 3 of them are planning on going into music, and then 1 is going to go into engineering.
Cool, thank you. The CPHS Theater Department put on their annual haunted house in the cafeteria over the weekend to raise money for future endeavors. After 2 long nights of scares and a week-long worth of preparation, the CPHS Theater Department managed to gather over $7,500, which can now be used to fund further productions and events.
I love being a tour guide. This was, for me, the most fun I've had doing a haunted house. It was really nice because with the tour guides, you kind of just, you talk about where you are, you talk about the circus, and we had a little bit of guidelines, but each of us came up with kind of our own type of speech, our own version of the speech that we kind of developed as we went on. So at some point, I kind of just had my own speech. So that was really nice, and I got to do some little bits with some parts of the haunted house that were really nice that I could personally make up and do.
Congratulations to our theater department for putting on yet another successful haunted house.
Coming up next, today's brief with Maddie Cooper, but first, these announcements.
Good morning, Cedar Park. I'm Maddie Cooper here with your top 3 headlines in this morning's brief. First, Friends actors Matthew Perry tragically passed on Saturday from apparent drowning. At the age of 54, Perry was found laying unresponsive in a hot tub by his assistant, who was out running errands at the time. Sources say no traces of drugs or foul play, but are continuing to investigate further into the case. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner are expected to conduct a formal autopsy soon. Next, a Texas judge reportedly refused to accept same-sex marriages before the court hearing. Judge Diane Hensley from Waco, Texas, had multiple lawsuits filed against her for her refusal to marry same-sex couples. Hensley's lawyer, Jonathan Mitchell, had argued on her behalf, saying, quote, "It's still permissible for wedding officiants, whether they're judges or members of the clergy, to discriminate based on any other characteristic as long as it's not race, origin, or religion," end of quote. Next, an Austin man is facing several charges on accounts of a downtown high-rise fire. Just yesterday, John Heinrich Meyer faces charges of arson as well as a terrorist threat. Witnesses say they saw Meyer setting boxes of fire on the balcony of a building in the 90th block of a Red River Street. Police say the fire caused an estimated $360,000 in damages to the building. Finally, an American missing mariner was found in Canadian waters 2 weeks after being lost at sea. Two mariners whom departed on October 12th were scheduled to arrive on October 15th, however went missing just a few days from that. The Coast Guard traveled over 14,000 miles to search for the mariners, but however had no luck, until Canadian rescuers found one of the mariners surviving on nothing but salmon for 13 days. The second mariner remains missing, but the Coast Guard never mentioned the search would resume. So what would you guys do if you were lost at sea?
Can we just talk about how they ate salmon for 13
I would,
days straight?
I'm just like, I don't think I would even last a day.
I would just give up. I don't
do seafood. No.
I think it's so smart,
I
and
think
how
I've heard-
nice that, like, you know, he didn't have to be eating, like, I don't know, sea eels or something
Yeah.
disgusting
I
like
wouldn't
that.
eat anything, probably. I can't do it.
I don't know. I mean, I would definitely eat it, but the thing is, like, I don't know if I would catch the fish. I wouldn't know how to do that. Like, I would need some
It's
survival
kind of like a live or
skills.
die
Yeah, I
situation.
would drown. Like, I can't
I
stay
feel like we would all
afloat.
figure it out a little bit, and then
But
probably
for
not.
almost 2 weeks.
Definitely, I wouldn't last that long.
Yeah.
Thanks, Maddie. Up next, an all-new sports report, plus our new Alpha Wolf Athlete of the Week.
Good morning, Cedar Park, and welcome back to Wolfcast Sports Report. I'm Rachel Elizondo. If you were at the football game on Friday to kick off Hollow Weekend, the Black Rain took on the Leander Lions and dominated the entire game. The Wolves took home their 6th win of the season with a final score of 49-7. That puts their season record at 6-3. They'll play again for senior night this Friday at home against Georgetown starting at 7. This is the last regular season game of the season. The Timberwolves clinched the playoff spot after Friday's win and will begin playoffs the following week. We also want to wish our volleyball team luck, as they will also be starting playoffs tomorrow against Tibby High in San Antonio. Finally, for this week's Alpha Wolf of the Week, we have senior defensive lineman Reed Vines. Here our Coach Morrow has to say about Reed's contributions to the team over the past few years.
Well, it's just like having another coach on the field for us, being a 3-year starter, 2-year captain. He knows not only what his job is supposed to do, but kind of what everybody else is supposed to do as well.
That's all we have for you today with CPHS News. I'm Risa Elizondo.
Thanks, Reese. And that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for taking the time to join us during your day. You can catch anything you missed and more on our X, YouTube, or TikTok at CPHS News.
Catch Wednesday's show for a feature story on Trevor Von Weberfield, a recap of Cars Coffee House, and a story on Dia de los Muertos.
And don't forget to follow our dedicated sports Twitter at CPHS_sports for updates during the games. With CPHS News, I'm Lou Lynch.
I'm Reed Cummins.
And I'm Kira Cox. Remember to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours. Have a marvelous Monday, Cedar Park.